Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Security IQ. Elisa Muley here. Say hi, Min.
Min Kirianis. Hi, everyone.
Today, we are joined by Brian Karras, and we have a very serious topic to talk about. And I'm going to let Brian lead off, but just to give you guys an idea, we've been talking over the last couple of days about how the industry and in general, particularly on the development side of software, can really be misogynistic in their language. So Brian, why don't you explain a little bit of what we've been discussing and how we're going to make some real strides to change this?
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, cybersecurity and political correctness, I think they're two of the top issues we've seen in the security industry today. So Elisa, Min, and myself, we've taken upon ourselves to do what we can to contribute to correcting some of these things. And when we started talking about cybersecurity and vulnerabilities, we really realized that just the structure and the wording used is not going to work. So we need to revamp this from the ground up. We need to get rid of some legacy tools and things like Nmap that use out-of-date terminology and things that just aren't friendly and inclusive to the industry. So we've, along those lines, I've actually created the friendly unbiased network scanner tool, and we can show you a quick example of this tool in use. But the idea here is that instead of just like brute forcing some device and trying to see what ports are open, it takes a more friendly approach. And first it looks for any ports that might be open, and then it executes some commands to see if those ports are actually willing to be scanned for any vulnerabilities, instead of just assuming that the ports want to be scanned. And this relies certainly on developers building in vulnerabilities and bugs that take this new approach into effect. And then that's where Elisa, you and Min have really done a lot to help create some new APIs and create some standards and documents so that developers can write vulnerabilities that are able to be more equitably scanned.
So in other words, I think you're using words like penetration testing and stuff like that, where we're so accustomed saying pen testing, penetration testing, that sometimes it does give off the wrong connotation. So on our end, what we're doing is we are creating an API to the back end of your tool where hackers are going to be able to say, like to be probed, see which computers like to be probed, whether you like to be probed, so that way it's kind of interactive in a way. So we are advocating for that. Hopefully, folks, are appreciative of these new, is it non-invasive, or we're going to say,
particularly on the back end?
Yeah, well, it's on the back end. Yeah.
I think a non-invasive back end would be welcome.
Okay, non-invasive back. I'm sorry, my mind's going to the gutter. But if you're getting probed now, if you like getting probed, then they have to ask for your permission to be probed. So this is what the API does. It's going to ask for your permission to be probed. It's kind of like a Tinder. I would say Tinder for hackers at this point. So I think
it's consensual.
Right. It's essential. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. So that way we can better match hackers that are looking for vulnerabilities with devices and ports that are open to exploring those vulnerabilities.
In the back end.
Right. Always in the back end.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Stop this laughing.
You know what?
Mandy, edit that out.
No, leave it in. This is freaking funny. This is funny. And in case anyone who is watching didn't realize, this is a joke. This is an April Fool's joke.
Oh my God.
Nobody's back-ending anything.
Nobody's probing. Well, if they want to be probed, they're welcome to be probed. And Brian's the guy for you.
Brian's the guy.
I don't know about that.
Just make it blush.
I think we lost Brian.
Oh my God, that was so bad. I couldn't keep a straight face anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
right in the back.
Come on, no, that, what?
I think that was actually a perfect. That was perfect.
It really was. It was perfect. And
oh my God.
For anyone, again, who hasn't figured it out, this is our April Fool's recording. This is the sheer genius of Brian, who, when we got together and said, what do we want to talk about? We want to make fun of the industry. Like, yes, Min and myself are incredibly inclusive and we do advocate for inclusivity, but we totally recognize that sometimes people can be a little over the top and insane with how inclusive they get or how PC they get. We're not the most PC. We make mistakes, but this was a great way to poke fun. Thank you, Brian. It was sheer genius.
Yes.
What was some of the terminology that we didn't make you do?
I was going to use the tool whip, the whipping tool.
Oh, wow.
To kind of whip the packets in shape.
Brian, packets?
I think Brian.
I think we talked about finding the most neutral, inclusive logo that also represented what we were after. And I think the best thing was just on Moneybag Me would be the company name and logo.
Why can't we just use the eggplant emoji then at that point, since we're probing? Just saying.
So it's already taken.
I know. Hey, look, we're already at the gutter.
Well, since we're on the topic, we do have some time left in the segment. What are your thoughts, Brian? I mean, listen, again, we're poking fun really at ourselves. Again, no pun intended. But the idea is there's a happy medium. Like, everyone should have a seat at the table. Everyone should have conversation that is comfortable. But if you can't laugh at some of this stuff, then you're too serious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But what are your thoughts, Brian? How do you feel? I have to imagine being on the guy's end of things. You have a certain perspective and no judgment. So feel free to share your thoughts.
We're thick-skinned.
Sure. We'll have to cut this quick part out.
Oops.
I thought.
You're breaking up, Brian.
What's that?
You're breaking
up a little.
A lot, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let's say my internet connection was crappy. What do you?
I'm going to probe it some more then.
Can you not hear me still?
Yes. Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
I'll stop probing you.
What part of this do you want me to share my thoughts on the whole equality part of this? We're not going into the next video, right? Obviously, we'll cut this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're gonna freestyle it. So, what are your thoughts in general? I mean, there's a lot of good being done on the side of inclusivity and, again, making people feel comfortable and all of that. But you can go to the extreme where, you start missing a lot of things because people are walking on eggshells and you can't say certain things and you're always, stifling what your comments are. So give us a little bit of your thoughts on that.
Sure. I think the security industry definitely has this perception of like it's an old white guys club. And I've always fit the back half of that. And every year I get a little closer to that. And I think we really do want to bring in younger people to the industry and just a crowd. And I think, we want to be aware of all these topics and things, but I think it's more important to concentrate on just attracting people to the industry and not making it seem out of date or too strict or too over the top. And really, I mean, new perspectives on things. And so, creating more inclusivity and welcoming people in instead of worrying about the minor nuances or calling something out because it doesn't quite perfectly fit, a broader narrative or a broader, kind of thing going on in the world in general.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And there's balance. I mean, I think there's always, what's the saying? Got to break a few eggs, right? So obviously, somebody's going to say something that's a little off color. It'll be offensive and whatever. But I think the balance is really trying to not be so wound tight. Yeah. You have to allow for some levity, which is, again, why we did this little April Fool's segment. Because, even though we're doing this and we're making a joke about it, we still want to see everyone have that seat, have a voice. And, but just because we're giving a voice to women or minorities or whatever segment feels stifled doesn't mean we have to stifle other people.
Basically, don't have your stick up your ass, people.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
That's a good way to phrase it.
Sorry, I just had to cut it to the chase. Don't have a stick up your ass, people. Just play along.
Yeah. I think it's important to recognize too, really, when you think about what we do, this is always it's about protection and security at the end of the day. And it's really kind of serious scenarios that we deal with. And I feel like if you can't have a little bit of that levity on the back end, but you know, if you can't cut up a little bit and relax, like it would really be super stressful. So I think we may sometimes see a little bit more of that in this space because it's balancing some of what you're doing on the day job side of it, of really trying to keep people safe, and there's little room for error in a lot of these systems at the end of the day.
Right. And the hypervigilance piece just comes with the job anyway.
Right.
So wherever you can interject a little levity is a good thing. You know, as long as nobody's getting hurt, we're okay.
Well, just have a sense of humor. That's basically it. You know, get a laugh a little bit. If you don't, you're going to get stressed out. Long and short.
Yes, agreed. So if you enjoyed this April Fool's segment, comment below and join us, because we're going to have Brian back for another segment very soon.
And make sure that you put any keywords that we have not used here. Be curious to see what you say too.
Yeah, I want to see some creativity on the
let's go for it, people.
The puns. Comment below.
Oh boy, the back end. Let's bring on the back end. All right, folks.
All right, thanks, ladies.
April Fool's Day.
Guys.
Bye.
Take care.